The John Ankerberg Show. Huh. I've been watching apologists and preachers for a while, and I've never heard of this one. Why is it so hard for us to live the Christian life? Ooh, goody. I've been trying to figure that out, and this video might provide some idea why. Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm an atheist and skeptic, and recently I've been looking at this trope of why it's so ding-dang hard to be a Christian, and I came upon this one. It's a few years old, but you know, the arguments in Christian land never change. Like I said, I've never heard of this guy. According to the wiki, this guy's still alive. He was born in 1945, studied a bunch of church stuff. He launched his show in 1980. Now it's all on YouTube. His webpage says he never set out to launch the world's most watched Christian apologetics television program. That's quite the claim. Could that possibly be true? The webpage also talks about the current series, which features one Dr. Stephen Meyer. Kind of tells you all you need to know about this guy, really. It's also got a handy guide to how to be a Christian. This all makes it sound easy. A Christian is a person who is a follower of Jesus and believes in him. The Bible offers a clear answer so you can know you are a Christian. Then some Bible stuff, we'll skip that. But none of that sounds really hard. It also says how to believe in Jesus. It actually just tells you what you should believe, not how to accomplish that. But lots of Christians get that kind of thing mixed up. You say, why should I believe? And they tell you what to believe, you know? It also tells you that you could pray right now, if you want. And I guess that John Ankerberg is so confident in these other points listed above that he just asks you if you prayed and would you like to subscribe to his channel. I think it's funny how often these Christians think their spiel is so convincing. Maybe if that Holy Spirit would get off its tail feathers and inspire someone, the spiel would work. Anyway, that's my blibbity blab. Now I want to hear about the difficulties of being a Christian that we were advertised. Away we go.
Wayne, pick it up again. Why is it so hard for us to live the Christian life?
Okay, well, let's pick up at verse 5. We were in Romans chapter 6. We got through verse 4. Verse 5 says, "For if we have become united with him in the likeness of his death, certainly we shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection." I love that.
Okay, I don't know who this other guy is either, and we're clearly in the middle of a discussion, but okay, we're just going to go with that, whatever. We don't need people's names. Wayne something, I think he said. And why does Wayne talk so fast? Is he nervous? He quotes a passage from Romans that does not say anything about difficulties. We are just in his likeness. I hope he's going to clarify.
Love that. The word united is a compound word. And a lot of prepositions are used in the Greek language, which helps define the word. And the word with, they have more than one word for different.
With.
We have one word for with, but they have two. The word seen, or soon, as some people say, and the word meta. Meta is the width of association. Seen is the width of intimacy to where you cannot separate. And it's very important that we understand the difference there.
Ooh, our buddy Wayne knows Greek. I guess. Greek is not my thing, so I don't know if he's correct. You can tell me in the comments if you know something about Greek. I can always look it up later if this turns out to be important. Spoiler, it's not important. I think we're just supposed to be impressed and think that this Wayne dude is knowledgeable.
It's kind of like, I love biscuits. I just love biscuits. I can't help it. We lived out west for several years, 9 years in Albuquerque, and they have tortillas. Now they're good. They really are good. But there's nothing like a good old cathead southern biscuit.
Okay, I'm from the South, and I never heard of these. We just have biscuits where I'm from. Just plain biscuits without any kind of name on it, I think the ones pictured here aren't even accurate because supposedly you're not supposed to cut them out. You're supposed to drop them onto the sheet. So you're welcome for this culinary tangent. So anyway, this guy lived out west where he ate tortillas I guess we have to say the word that way so that we sound sophisticated. And he missed biscuits. Can't wait to see how eating well and moving around the country shows us how hard it is to be a Christian.
Biscuit. And let's just say we're making some biscuits right now. We've got a bowl. We put all the ingredients in that bowl. And which word would we have to use if we, the word with in the Greek? It'd have to be meta, because you can add to it. And if you really knew what you was doing, you could take away. Some people say you add lard, but that's what you look like after it's over with. But you mix it all together and you put it in the shape of a cat head biscuit. You know what I'm talking about, a large biscuit. Let's just leave it there. It's not a kitty cat, but a large biscuit. And you put it in the oven and you bake it. You pull it out. Are those ingredients together? Oh, yes. But if you were a Greek, you'd have to change that preposition. No longer are they just with each other. They're a part of each other. They have been baked into each other. So,
okay. You know, I never thought of using the preposition with for ingredients that now have a different chemical composition. I would never use with. I would say the biscuit was made up of ingredients. So anyway, that was just our little Greek lesson. Now can we hear about the difficulties of being Christian?
To me, what Paul is saying in my Bubba vernacular is that we're biscuits for Jesus.
I just don't think there's anything I can say to top that. That is funnier than any punchline or snarky comment I could ever make up. So okay, biscuits for Jesus. Maybe the baking in the oven is an analogy for burning in hell and we get all toasty roasty. Well, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Christians aren't supposed to go to hell. Anyway, let's keep going.
Jesus has baked himself into our lives now, but here comes the struggle in verse 6. Knowing this, and that means know by experience. We're going to find out real quick that our old self was crucified with him in order that our body of sin, isn't it interesting what he calls the body of our bodies of sin, the body of sin might be done away with. Now that's an interesting translation. Some say destroyed. Well, yes and no. The word is kata, argeo. Kata, down, argeo, to idle, to put into neutral.
Yeah, great. Dude has all kinds of Greek. All right, cool. This is supposed to clarify our struggle, but this just sounds like a purging of the old ways. And anyway, this is just metaphorical language. I mean, it doesn't mean that people are literally crucified. So please explain your struggle as a Christian.
When I was growing up, we had one of the two ugliest cars ever made, I think. Not an Edsel, that was pretty bad. But this was a Studebaker. Remember the Studebakers? And they looked like a bullet. I mean, if you got certain types, where's the front, where's the back? And my daddy didn't have the opportunity to choose because we didn't have a lot of money. So he had to buy what was available. We bought a yellow one. And I was thinking as a young person, Dad.
The look on this guy's face is priceless. I'm so happy they did this reaction shot. He's got that smile you put on when someone is babbling away and it has nothing to do with the question you asked or whatever other topic was happening before they opened their pie hole. Like, please, I am not in the mood for a dialect story. By the way, comment below if you know where that last line is from. Also a great line from that same book was, "What degenerate produced this abortion?" Which is what I think when I'm watching apologetics videos.
Young person, Dad, don't buy a yellow Studebaker. And we didn't have a driveway or a garage, so he'd park it up in the yard. No, Dad. Park it 2 blocks away. We'll walk to it. We don't want anybody to know we have it. But one day I got in it and I said, I'm going to learn to drive this thing. Back then, there was no automatic shifts. You had to drive straight shift or ride a bicycle.
The video I chose is not that long, and we are so far from answering the starter question. So far, I've learned this guy was a well-fed kid whose parents owned a car and he lived out in Albuquerque. So, not a bad life so far. We're just going to glide on out and hear the rest of this story.
And so I got in it and I started the thing up, and if you've had that experience, and most of us have, of forgetting to put it in neutral and leaving it in gear and not pushing the clutch in, and you try to start it and it jerks a knot in your neck, I'm thinking, oh man. So I finally learned to push the clutch in, and I finally learned to coordinate with the gas pedal and move it forward 20 feet. I wouldn't go any further because we had a wall in the back of our yard, and if we went over that, I was dead. So I would 20 foot forward and 20 feet backward, forward, back. Matter of fact, when I got my driver's license at 17 years old, I think I'd driven 20,000 miles, 20 foot forward, 20 foot back. But the thing that hit me was, if I put it in neutral or pushed the clutch in, I could step down on that gas pedal and it would roar with the best of the power would make a noise. However, it had no effect on the car because it had been disengaged by the clutch. And when Christ came to our life, he disengaged, in that sense, rendered sin powerless when he came into our life.
That is how I read that earlier passage. But that seems like it would make life easier, not harder. Like if sin is powerless, what's the struggle? And of course, most Christians will tell you that just because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean you won't sin or you'll have an easy life. You're just supposed to be guaranteed heaven. So anyway, what did we learn? Well, I learned about cat head biscuits and not much else. I promise you, this is the video that this channel put out. I did not edit anything down. I'm sure that this discussion is part of a longer episode, but someone pulled out this anecdote and put on these title cards and made this shorter video with this title and this promise. And either they think it's meaningful or they just want to plant the idea in your head that it's hard to be a Christian without going into any detail. A reminder, the video is supposed to be about why it's so hard to live like a Christian, and we got biscuits for Jesus and putting your old-timey car in neutral, which was all supposed to mean that Jesus is baked into Christians because Greek language something or other, and sin can't have a hold on us, and none of that tells me about the difficulty of being a Christian. If anything, it's the opposite, with big fat biscuits and cool cars to move around this non-creation of a planet. You know what is suffering? My sense of a proper thesis with supporting arguments and evidence. This down-home storytelling may make this guy appear likable, but it does nothing to present a convincing argument. And by the way, Mark Twain, this guy ain't. And before we completely leave it, just a couple of interesting things I noted about the video itself. So the John Ankerberg Show channel has a subscriber count of 114K, yet only 5,300 plus people viewed it. And this is a video from October 2016. And only 64 people left a thumbs up on the video. I find that interesting. A lot of these Christian channels get a lot of subscribers, but not a lot of people view the channel. But then I also looked at some comments, which I found interesting too. So the first comment from Bossy641 says, "Flesh do not comply with spirit. Flesh is in opposition to spirit. That makes it a true challenge." Now, that may be true if you could show me that there was a spirit that's interacting with your flesh, but that's not what I got out of the video we just watched. So Bossy641 is adding to this. The same thing goes for Tash God's Child 9677, who wrote, "Because it requires growth, and growth can be painful, but rewarding." You know, which is true. Growth can be painful and rewarding, although it doesn't have to be. I talked about that in a previous video. And again, unless that biscuits for Jesus was actually a metaphor for painful growth, I didn't get that out of this video. But I really like the next comment from CryptoMinto4250. No idea what you were talking about. Exactly how I felt, CryptoMinto. And then Piano Man here wrote, "Answer, because God doesn't care about us." And I like that. I like that somebody's leaving an answer like that on this channel. And then somebody replied to him saying, "Piano Man here, that's where you're wrong, kiddo." And 9 people liked that. So there you go. I think that these people got more out of the video just in general, except for Crypto Minto, who feels like I do. Well, that's what I have for you this week. What did you think about this video and the biscuits for Jesus and the old-timey car and the whole, all of it? Put it in the comments below, and you know the drill. While you're down there, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuffing, pour out your YouTube libations so that Algoritmo and his consort Algoritmo will give you good and not so good recommendations. I mean, come on, people, it's YouTube. You're gonna get what you get. Some of it's just crap, you know, YouTube. So anyway, if you like what I do, you can also buy me a coffee. That link is also in the description below. And thank you to all the people who have bought me a coffee. It is very much appreciated by me and my kitties. And don't know what's coming up next, but you know it's gonna be stupid. Bye for now.